Hey, back. Okay, now that I fixed Filbert, took Filbert for a test drive, you guys got to hear a cold start, which is nothing very special on our Mark IV. I mean, my Mark IV, since the exhaust is so well dialed in, there's not much noise that it creates. So I get a lot of people who ask, "Oh, what exhaust you got in there? It's what's going on, Rob? What's going on? Ready to shop, bruh? Are you ready to shop? Because we're gonna shop tonight. Because we're gonna build you a big turbo. So be excited, buddy, because we got a long shopping list to build tonight. And my wife, unfortunately, is busy putting my daughter to bed. I just put my nephew to bed. So once she's done, she's gonna come out and bother me, and I'm gonna go eat some dinner. So, yep, it's a shopping night. That's right. So, you guys gotta get excited for this. So I'm waiting for some more people to join us, and then we're gonna go start shopping. Now, what Rob? I need to confirm what we want to do. So, what is our power goal? All right, Rob, put that in the comments, please. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Much, much needed. I gotta buy all the O-rings for them too, because they're gonna need O-rings as well. So 500 horsepower is Rob's power goal. All right, Rob. And keep in mind, Rob has a 1.8T 20th anniversary Blackmagic Pearl GTI. So which means comes with an AWP engine, 1.8T, 6-speed, O2 M, I believe, or O2A, whatever, O2H, whatever 6-speed transmission is available for that car. So a big chunk of money is going just for the clutch alone. Just so you know, Rob. And I mean, when I mean a big chunk of money, you're looking at $1,200 to $1,500 just for a clutch kit, by the way, buddy. Just for a clutch kit. Not even building your engine yet. Okay? So I need you to understand that right now. If you had an O2J 5-speed, $500, $600. Exactly. Thank you, Dub Invasion. That's exactly what I was going to tell him. Clutch Masters FX450 for his 6-speed transmission, though. Gonna get you up there in price, but it's gonna hold the power. That's what matters. So let's get down. I'm almost done down in this Oh wow, nice. Yeah, 3.6 will do it. At 250 horses, it'll hold. No problem. Well, that's NA though. That's all the torque instantly. Alright. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm eating a banana in front of you guys. But I'm freaking hungry. I'm just trying to kill my hunger. Gotta move my tiny self all the way in the corner. So, as we work here, that sucks, Gabe. So, shopping. Okay, so first things first, we gotta go to integrated engineering. Why? I will not trust any other internal parts for my motor besides from integrated engineering. Best stuff around. especially when you want to do reliability number one. You want to do price, customer service, just getting your parts quick. This is the company to go with. I know it's one of those things. It's like, you know, most people would say like, "Oh no, you're just a fanboy." I'm not. My buddy Ian's motor can prove it. My motor can prove it. The 3 times I built other motors can prove that. And I'm not gonna say I'm a fanboy. I'm a believer. There's a big difference. All right. I'm a believer of their products, and they work. Oh, that sucks, Dub Invasion. So, let's get it started because we need to get stuff going. Obviously for a Volkswagen, and it's for a GTI, and it's for a Mark IV. So, that's pretty straightforward. Yeah, the fuel pressure regulator. All right, so we got to start first with connecting rods. So, at 500 horsepower, that is legitimately the limit to AWP pistons. You can push 500 ponies, 500 horsepower on stock pistons. So if we're smart about this, we're not going to try to shoot for 500. We can shoot for 450 to 500 horsepower, and that will be smart with pricing what we're going to be doing. Yeah, same thing. If you have a GLI, they're exact same cars, just one's bigger than the other. Still AWP and an O2M 6-speed transmission, all identical. So pretty straightforward. So there's a couple of things. Since it's an AWP, it's gonna have 19 millimeter wrist pins, guys. AWD and AWE had I believe the 20 mil wrist pins, which is very more desirable when you go past the 500 horsepower mark. When you're trying to break land speed records and, you know, just want to go straight super fast, then you have to go to 20 millimeter wrist pins. That's the only downside is if you're gonna go aftermarket piston, you have to go 20 millimeter wrist pin. You can't go 19 millimeter pistons. They don't exist. Wrist pin, no one makes them. That's just so you guys know. They just don't. No one makes them. Everything goes after that. It's 20 mil. All right. So right off the bat, right here, if you see all the different rods that are available for your engine, there's VR6. There's again 1.8T. Other VR6 engines and 1.8T. So there's FSI and then there's our engines. Okay, so our engines is right here. This is the one that matters the most. Is these guys right here. These are the drop-in, which means they're weighted correctly. They grind them down properly. They make sure that they match stock specification weight rods. All right, guys. Meaning, they won't make your crank unbalanced. They won't require you to do any crazy machine work. You just swap out, pull off the piston off of it, put it back on, and you're good to go. Okay, now, for an extra $25 per rod, you get rifle drilling. Okay, what is rifle drilling? Well, if this is going to be a car you're going to daily drive, you need to rifle drill your rods. I'm not going to say you need... I would suggest you, I would just add rifle drilling to your rods. And the reason why for it adds more oil or lubrication to the areas that need more oil. So where the rod goes, it extends. Let's see right here if I can show you guys. So this is the top of the rod. This is the connecting portion to your piston. This is the bottom. Now, if you see right here, where I'm pointing at, there's no hole. When they rifle drill them, they drill a hole right here, all the way to the top of the connecting rod here, and that's what we call rifle drill. that hole feeds more oil top and bottom. It just adds extra lubrication. Again, adding longevity to the lifespan of your pretty much high horsepower engine. So we're going to add that, and we're going to add one set of rods, obviously. So that's going to be $571 for a set of rods, pretty much. All right. So already there, the big chunk of money already done. That's pretty much the starting point for a 500 to 600 horsepower engine. Now we need to go to bearings. So now Rob wasn't very detailed on how he wants to make 500 horsepower, because we can go over here to a stroker kit. Excuse me, guys. And we can go to a full stroker kit, which I believe they offer on here. Let me see if I can find it. Stage 2 kits, do they have it? Let's see here. No. There's parts. Oh, they don't got the kits anymore. That sucks. Man, they used to have a full kit that you could buy from them. This kit gave you pretty much rods, pistons, the cranks, the bearings, and piston rings, everything you needed. That would give you a 2-liter, pretty much GTI, a 2-liter 1.8T. If they have the kit, let's go check. Let's go check really quick Euro tuning. Because I cannot spell. Gotta change this car. Should be mechanical. See if I can find the. Here we go. Stroker kit. Okay, so here it is right here. This is the 2-liter stroker kit. $3,000. Okay. Now, the big thing about stroker kits is that, number one, it turns an engine from a 1.8 to a 2-liter. Now, what are your benefits adding more displacement to your engine? Well, number one, much faster spool. Number two, way more power for the same size engine. I mean, same size turbo that you're going to slap on it. Number three, it just sounds way better. Stroker kits sound gnarly on a 1.8T. They don't sound like a normal 1.8. They sound really good. And it's a lot more power. However, that's $3,000. I don't know if Rob wants to go that route, but this is an option, okay? It'll make making 500 horsepower a lot easier, okay? Just so you guys know. So now that we got rods, we're going to be using factory pistons. So we're going to need rod bearings, and we're going to need main bearings. So right here off the set, right off the bat, you're going to need calico coated rod bearings and calico coating race main bearings. These are the things you need right here. So we're going to not oversize them because this engine runs perfectly fine. Everything's probably going to be within factory specifications, so we're going to stick to that. Same with his rod bearings. These are brand new rods. We're not going to worry about oversizing anything. All right. So that's done. Now that's pretty much. Let's see, what else do we need here? Nope. Ooh, excuse me, guys. We need piston rings. So let's see here. Nope, not showing up here. They might not have them on here for it. We'll see. Yeah, they don't have the piston rings on here. We're going to shop for them somewhere else. So that's not a big deal. So the next thing is hardware. So we need, let's see, caps, nope, shoulder kits, connecting rods, engine bolts. Here we go. So traditionally, you can use bolts, but since we're gonna be doing a lot of power, studs are way better. Rob, I can get you rings for a lot cheaper, so don't worry about it. Yes, 3 Bowman. Anyone can build a high horsepower engine. It's not difficult. I'm being honest with you. It's just patience. Okay, so this is what you're gonna need for your head. So we're gonna use that, and these are the studs. We don't want to use bolts. I'm not a big fan of the bolts. You're gonna want to upgrade the cam gear here. The cam gear bolt. They're out of stock, but you can find them. They're not hard to find. Right here, you're gonna want to upgrade the crank bolt. I hate this bolt with a passion, by the way, guys. Not a fan of it, but it is a phenomenal piece of hardware that you're gonna need. So we got head bolts, we got crank bolts, cam bolt, ARP. The rods already come with ARP bolts already. So if you want to, you can add the girdle. The girdle, it's kind of like you're up in the air on that one. I think we should be okay. Abbas, my AM AFR gauge studs at 1.4. Your O2 sensor is probably going bad on you. I would probably figure out how to recalibrate your O2 sensor for your air fuel sensor, buddy. So studs or a main studs for 1.8Ts aren't needed for this type of horsepower. Once you go beyond the 500 horsepower range, I definitely would invest in a girdle because the block likes to twist a bit and it can just cause the block to crack and just fail pretty much. Again, adding the girdle is a good choice beyond the 500 horsepower. Again, it's up to Rob if he wants to go that. If we're gonna make 500 wheel, by all means, a girdle is beneficial. But it's up to Rob on that situation because the girdle is pretty pricey. But yes, Abbas, you have to look up your manufacturer. Look up the manufacturer guide on how to do that. Typically, AFRs have to be recalibrated every 3 to 4 months. So we can add it to the total. We'll see if Rob wants to go with it. So these are the bolts for that, but we have to make sure we have to get the girdle. Let's see here. There it is. So they have an entire kit here, which is $5.99. This gives us everything we need to do the actual girdle install. So we'll put that in there. We'll remove the this right here because there's a kit, so we don't need to worry about the rest of it. This comes with everything we need. So thank goodness that Integrated Engineering throws in stickers for free. So extra free horsepower all day. Okay, so because we're going over 400 horsepower plus, you have to get a what we call, where is it? A crank gear. You have to. The girdle reinforces the pretty much the flex and the block. That's all it does. You have to get this. Unfortunately, you don't have a choice going outside of the 400 horsepower range. This is a press-in gear. So you have to get this pressed in, and then you have to have it like, I forgot the term for it. Jeez, I forgot the name. There's a process for it, but yeah, you have to get this. Unfortunately, when you go past the 400 big old pony range, you have to get this part. There's no other option, unfortunately, since it is billet. It's gonna hold up and not shear the teeth off of it when you do a freaking hard pull. You can't do the 6-bolt, because if you do the 6-bolt, you have to get the 6-bolt FSI pulley, and you're just keep adding on top of that. You don't need the 6-bolt. That's if you're gonna go with the other crank stuff. So now that's all done, we have to go now into timing kits, because we're going to be going such high horsepower. You can't use automatic tensioning now. You have to have the manual tensioner, because if you don't manual tension your belt, what's going to happen with the automatic hydraulic one, it's not going to have enough tension and not be able to react fast enough, pretty much. So it's one of those things, is like F and A, this sucks, but you're making power, so there's ups and downs to all of this process, guys. So you need to get this, pretty much everything that you see right here on this screen, unfortunately, to make it happen. So I wish there was like a full kit, but there isn't. Actually, yeah, there is a kit. Don't need to add the water pump. We can do that later. Hey, babe. Yes, food. Let me remove this. Just put it right here for me. Thank you. Appreciate it. So going with the kit, again, you just need it. Unfortunately, for this scenario, you have to go to the Gates belt. I'm not a big fan of the Gates racing belts with hydraulic tensioners. The Gates belts are meant for manual tensioners. I don't care what other people say. Personal experience twice already. I had a Gates belt make my hydraulic tensioner fail sooner than later. Probably not even 20,000 miles, and the tensioner just started loosening tension. You can see the belt flapping in there. Just pre-warning you guys, it is a choice, but this is from personal experience. Other people might say otherwise. By all means, do what you want to do. I'm not going to force you guys not to. All right? So that's done. That's pretty much your block. That is the bottom end of your block. Now you're ready for 500, 600 horsepower. Pretty much that's it. Now, if you're going to go beyond the 500 horsepower range, we have to change the pistons. But since Rob already gave me a number, we're going to stick with that, because that's just the smart way of doing it. We're going to stick with stock pistons. You save $1,000 just right off the bat. So why not? Next thing is your valves. Beyond the 400 horsepower range, you can't just swap out valves anymore. You have to do an entire valve train. So this is where your next batch of money, your next batch of a lot of money is going to kick in, Rob. Just pre-warning you, buddy. Going to 500 horses is like, it's a big job. 400, we could cut a lot of corners. But 500 is very expensive. But you done right, it's going to be freaking amazing. So, let's look here. So this is right here the retainer and stuff you need to do your entire valves. Yes, but 3 Bowman. Rob is paying for everything. This is his motor. So this is just to start off, okay, guys. You have to upgrade the springs. You have to upgrade the retainers and everything, the guides and all that. This is all have to be upgraded. And reason why, when you spin so fast your head, what happens is something called valve float. And what that does is that your engine's spinning so fast, the valves actually don't close all the way. And whenever you float a valve, your piston's going to come up, and guess what's going to happen? It's going to bend a valve, and that's the end of your motor. That's what we call valve float. Upgrading your springs and retainers and all that prevent that, because the springs are even harder than the factory stuff. So when that sucker's spinning super fast, that spring is going to pull that valve up no matter what, and make sure that valve is closed when it needs to be closed and open when it needs to be open at whatever power band you're at. And you have to go that route. So we're going to add that to the list. And you have to do that when you go outside of the 400 horsepower range. So now you have different options for your valves. You can stay with what can we say with stock style keepers, but since now we're gonna go way high horsepower, we have to go to single groove keepers, because the new valve guides and the new springs and retainers require the single grooves versus the triple grooves. So we are staying with stock size everything, but we have to go to what we call stock size but single groove. Okay, and this is the intake side. So on the intake side, it takes 3, 6, 9, 12 valves for intake, and then 2, 4, 6, 8 for the exhaust. So you have to add 3, 6, 9, 12 valves on that side. Okay. All right. Add keepers. And we got to add 20 keepers because we're doing 20 valves. So do that, add it to the cart. And now we're going to do exhaust valves. Stock size, single groove. And we're going to do 8. And 0 keepers, because we added it to the first cart. All right, so now we're pretty much almost done for a fully built head. The next step is valve guides. Since we're going to be upgrading the valves and springs and retainers, we might as well be smart and upgrade our valve guides, because we're going to go, again, we're going to factory specifications and we're building a ton of power. So we have to do 20 valves, unfortunately. Sorry, Rob, but this is how we do it right. And we do it. It should got 21. It's a 20 valve engine. So now we got valves, valve guides, and all that. Now the next thing is, you can go with high performance valve stem seals. You know, it's not a big deal. I believe this is just a intake. Since we're going to be doing this, we're going to might as well do it right. So 3, 6, 9, 12 for the intake. Oh, they're out of stock, so never mind. Well, we'll just add it to the list. That way, we all know. Okay. And that is pretty much the entire head. That's everything we need to build a head. Now, we got the head done. We got the block done. all it's left, we're missing piston rings, and that's it for the moment for building the block and the head. What's going to be left now is all your stuff that goes around it. So your chain, your tensioner, your you're gonna need to upgrade cams. Integrated Engineering doesn't sell cams, so let's see if we can get some performance cams on here. Yep. So Autotech sells a cam. Again, we don't have to buy cams, but if you want to make that extra bit of power, buying a cam does make a difference. I'm just giving you guys a heads up. Again, it's not required. It's just something we can add to your build. All right. Let's see here. Again, we don't need to add that to the list yet. We can get to all of that as we. For this type of power, we can't go to SPA. We're gonna go to a different type of turbo. We'll probably have to go Garrett or go Turbonetics. We might have to get so again, cams are not needed, but you can always add it down the road if you want to get that extra breathing room. It's not required, but it can help down the road. All right, guys. Let's see here. So we got to add a tensioner. All that stuff is going to be hard to price because you guys online stuff, some of this pricing is pretty ridiculous now. So I can get a tensioner and a chain and all that for a lot less. So I don't know if we're going to go that route, but we definitely going to need new, what we call, what's the term? These guys right here. Oh my goodness. I keep forgetting the name. Lifters. There you go. So lifters are very important. Again, we probably don't need to replace them because Rob's car has really low miles. So we will inspect and purchase as following. But again, it's one of those things. It's going to hit or miss, guys. It's always going to be hit or miss. Lifters are always needed. So we're going to assume we're going to be getting these. So intake side is going to be 12. Come on. There we go. Continue shopping. Let's see. We're going to need the exhaust side, obviously, with 8. What's left are pretty much oh, the motor has 199,000. Okay, we're gonna get lifters. We're gonna get lifters for sure, buddy. I thought I had a lot less miles. Gotcha. Either way, we're gonna just get lifters. Might as well be safe rather than sorry. So again, cams are going to be one of those things we can look at afterwards as we're building. It's one of those things that it's always going to be hit or miss because it depends on how the turbo reacts based on the build that we're working on. So the current list, and we're going to go break it down for you guys. It's pretty straightforward right now. And I'm going to show you guys everything. So just on Integrated Engineering's website alone, we're at $3,521. The reason why we're at so much money, because it's a complete overhaul. This is pretty much going to be a bulletproof engine for 400 to 500 horsepower, rev happy, and never, and I'm telling you guys this, never worry about this block ever taking a dump on you as you rev it to high hell and just go. And this is the benefit of going nuts when you do when you go nuts on internals, because that's what's going to happen. And this, again, this is just the block. This is not your turbo, by the way, Rob, and not your fueling, and not your intercooler, and not your exhaust. You haven't even factored all of that to your to your equation, by the way. Will, Mark 7, they're good cars. Oh, and he's got a head already, too. Perfect. They're good cars. I'm just not a fan of anything newer than a Mark 4. So I'm actually probably the worst person to ask for that type of advice, honestly, Will. I will not ever recommend anything newer than a Mark 4. I own a Mark 6 Jetta Sport Wagon TDI, and I despise it. I despise it with a passion. But my wife needed a new wagon, so that's what we got. And I don't care for it. I really don't care. So I'm sorry. I'm not the best person for that type of advice. So Rob, we got race stem seals, brand new valve guides, brand new valves, intake and exhaust, new keepers. Let's see here. Whole entire valve train. Very cool, Dub. Send me some pictures later, buddy. Pretty much your basic timing components, not everything. Your billet crank gear, your girdle, your crank bolt, your cam bolts, and then your head studs, your lower bearings, main bearings, and then rod bearings, and obviously rods. And that puts us at 3,521. At Euro Tuning, just for brand new racing lifters, it's $480. So that's $4,000 already. All right, Rob, you're at $4,000. Okay. So now we got to factor in a clutch. Whew. For a 6-speed transmission. This is where, I feel sorry for you, Rob, because it's gonna be not cheap. And let's see. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay, so it's not going to come up under this because it has to be under a different platform. I think you have to look it up under... Let's go under Jetta and see if I can get a GLI. There it is, yep. For this style, I would get a performance flywheel just because it's going to be the better option. So, South Bend has this guy right here. This is kind of like a stage 1. Yeah, this is a stage 1. So we got to add a flywheel, and then we need to do... I would probably do a stage 3 endurance. And that's what your damage is at. $1,500 for a clutch. Ouch. And the reason why you need endurance, because 500 horsepower, 400 horsepower on a daily is hard. I will Dub Invasion. Give me a moment. I got to eat some food before it gets too cold. So so we are now at that's a cool color, Dub. I like it. Um, what? $5,500. So, yeah, doesn't include machine work. So the machine shop, obviously, going to go to my shop, or not my shop, but my friends at Paradise Motorsports. You're probably going to look at another $800 in machine work, because they're going to pull out the old valve guides. We might be able to pull them out here and have them press in the new ones. You guys are silly. You guys got to understand, when you make crazy power, you're gonna. I know 500 horsepower is not a crazy numbers, but we're getting 500 horsepower out of 4 cylinders, guys. Understand that. 4 cylinders. So, Miguel, yeah. I don't know the address offhand, but just look up Paradise Motorsports in San Marcos, California. They're pretty much like 10 minutes from me. Phenomenal machine shop. All my engines get done there. So Paradise Motorsports, San Marcos, California. Yeah, think about that. Yeah, exactly. Each cylinder makes 125 horsepower. That's insane, Rob. Now, if we kept this build for under 500 horsepower, say we go, yep, that's the one. Perfect. Got the address. If Rob decided to go, oh, it's still just a bit too much, we can cut almost this whole entire build in half by going to 400. Going to 400 horsepower, and we can exclude the lifters. We can exclude the entire spring train, valve train, just the valves. Exclude the girdle, the pinned crank gear, and again, now I'll cut out $1,000 to $2,000 right off the bat, and then now we're at 400 daily horsepower. I don't know what Rob's trying to do with 500, but at 400, this car is stupid, insanely fast. At 400 horsepower with front wheel drive. I mean, personally, that's where I would be, but that's what I like on my car. But if Rob wants to go bigger, I mean, go bigger, go home. I like his attitude and I love it. So that's what we're gonna do for Let's Go Shopping. Oh, nice. Who'd you speak to? Did you speak to Scott or fastest Uber driver in SoCal, or John in the back, or Alex or Chris? There's a lot of people. I know a lot of people out over there. I always bring them food. Again, for the machine work, you're probably looking anywhere from the range of $500 to $800. Just depends on how much work you want to remove from them. So, when I take a block to them, I give them a bare bones block, nothing on it, the crank, the main caps, and that's it. And then For the head, I literally just give them a head. I take everything out of the head completely. I completely disassemble the entire head. And then all I give them is just a bare bones head. So they hot tank the head for me. They'll remove the stem seals. If I want valve guides done, then I have them add valve guides or stuff like that. But since what's it called? Rob's build is going to require new valve guides because we're going to such high performance. It's going to cost more. So like for when I give them a block like that, my usually my work or my costs typically runs anywhere from $200 to $400 because it's so very little work that I give them. A lot of times they charge a lot of money because of the labor for disassembling an entire engine is very time consuming. Disabling an engine, especially when you're in a busy shop, so you have to factor that in, guys. Whenever you take your guys' engine out and go get it machined, disassemble as much as you guys can possibly do, and then go from there. So that pretty much concludes our shopping list here with Rob. All the other stuff that he's gonna end up spending is just the basic stuff. Like, no, I would definitely do your own valve stems just because valve stems are super easy to install. I mean, just got to buy the tool. It's like a $30 tool to do the valve stems yourself. There we go. Much better. All big and stuff. Again, try to figure out how you can save yourself some money in every corner. Because if they're going to have one of them do a valve stem job, they're going to charge you an hour's worth of labor because they're going to require you to remove all the valve stems and then install the valve stems. An hour of labor is anywhere from $120 to almost $150. So think about that. Where you can go online, go buy a valve stem tool, which is the little long pipe that has different sizes. Yeah, I can help you do them. They're super easy. What a spick. But valve stems, you have to confirm if it is valve stems or not. Or Luis, I already bought fuel injectors and a rail. I'm gonna be using those to get your engine all set up, and then when you take your engine, I'm gonna just pull them out. So don't worry about it. Yes, Rob. All the gaskets are all the same. You're not gonna need to buy any special high performance gaskets because there's no such thing. So for what a spick, if your head or your engine's burning oil, first confirm if it's the head or if it's the block. If you're actually going through the piston rings or through the stem seals. Because usually if it's going through the stem seals, it's not the seal that's probably bad. It's probably a valve guide that's failed on you, and then you have to redo the valve. Pretty much you have to pull the head. You can't do stem seals. Well, you can if you have a special tool for it, because you have to be able to hold the valve up in place, and it's not like you can compress the valve while it's on the head. It's not as easy. So again, Luis, for your engine, oh, my eyes are hurting. For your engine, pretty much again, I'm gonna put on the stuff that I can put on there that I already bought and get your engine running, and then I break it in for you, and then when you come pick up your engine, I'll just separate the fuel, and that's all yours, buddy. You can take that stuff home with you. How many people's engine I'm building? Well, I am building. Well, the VR6 that I'm building right now is a Patreon engine. So if you guys are watching now and don't know what Patreon is, go to patreon.com. In the search engine, type in PincheAls Garage, then read up on everything that's up going there. But Luis funded this VR6 build that we've been showing everybody off because it's a beautiful build. The engine came out beautiful. I'm super happy on the end results and how it came out. So he funded the entire build. I provide all the labor and obviously the knowledge in doing this. And because of that, because of Luis being able to do this, we were able to create so much content on the channel that we have a VR6 build. It's awesome. I'm super happy about it because I've never done a VR6 here, and now because of him, we have a VR6 build. So that's really, really cool. You're welcome, Rob. So once Luis's engine is gone, we're actually going to build another VR6. And that VR6 is going to be a high compression engine. Meaning we're going to oversize the pistons. We're going to we're going to increase compression. We're going to do a lot of cool stuff. All right. So that's what we're doing with that. Miguel, I put a 3-inch downpipe in my GTI. And 2 of the turbo studs broke, so I have an exhaust leak. Yeah? Bought the bung for the O2 sensor and still threw a code for the O2 sensor. Yeah. The bung will not stop the code. It'll just do its best to rectify the exhaust flow. So so it's one of those things that Miguel put in the spacer is what we call it, because a lot of people, you put the bung and then you put a little spacer that has a 90 degree and you put the O2 sensor on it. It's a maybe that it'll work. It'll still probably throw a code. Your best thing to do is, if you're gonna slap modifications on your car, tune it as well and have it tuned for those modifications. If not, you're not gonna benefit. 100%, you're not gonna benefit for throwing mods on your car. I'm just being honest with you. There was a video on YouTube of a guy put every single bolt-on imaginable on a Mark IV 1.8T. So intake, he did boost hoses, a bigger intercooler, a big exhaust, a diverter valve, and I think he only made like 5 or 7 horsepower with no tune. Okay? So think about that. He spent like probably almost $1,200-$1,500 on just bolt-on modifications and made 5 to 7 horses. Like, why? And not tune it. You're going to put something in your car that increases diameter, so it increases more air to go in, but your car doesn't know what to do with the difference in the more air besides what it knows by default. And then you slap an exhaust, and so now you have more air coming out to compensate for the air coming in, but you're not adjusting boost or fuel. What a waste. It's a complete waste of money, and people don't realize that. You know? Exactly. Don't put a blow-off valve, put a diverter valve. Unless you have a big turbo, then go put a blow-off, because it sounds better with the blow-off. Sorry, 3 Bowman. Rob Hartmere. What do you mean? Like, what type of power are you trying to look for? On top of Diego Diaz, how do you pass California smog? I don't. My cars are registered out of state, so I don't care anymore about California. Speaking of O2, does it make a sense that the smog shop told me that I had to drive 50 to 60 miles after weekly driving 75? They said they had to. Yeah, that's correct. Because you have to do what they have to set the monitors. If you ever delete your ECU or reset your ECU, you have to drive it, and you have to drive it a lot for about 50 to 100 miles. So, yeah. Again, 3 Bowman. I'm not going to read that out loud, but yes. Uh, 3 to 400 horsepower. So you want a stock location turbo. For stock location turbo, I mean, if you want to do that, I would probably get into a precision Precision or Turbonetics Turbo. Garrett GT35 would do it for you. Yeah, small shops in California are getting harder and harder for you to give them money. If you guys know what I mean. A lot of shops are just being douches now. They're just going to be hard. So, talk to Dub and Vision about that. So, no, we don't do a tailpipe test anymore. It's visual and OBD2. And the issue is with the OBD2 in the state of California, they do the new Star 2 exam, which now they're reading. What's the word? They're reading actual files on your ECU, and they're also doing an engine bay inspection on there. So what happens is, again, you guys didn't hear this from me, but when you go into the shop and have it smog, they actually pull up a screen and it has a picture on what's supposed to look like in the engine bay. If it does not look like that in the engine bay, you immediately fail the visual smog test. Now, the new OBD2 testers read everything on the ECU now. They don't require a tailpipe. So that's how you guys know about that. So again, extra money gets you what you need. No, once everybody goes electric, what's gonna happen? To me, I think what's gonna happen is that they're gonna get so strict with emissions that they're gonna force you into electric, and that's one thing that's gonna really piss me off. Mark MK4 Geo, you talking about the hole in the back of the turbo for the F23? Miguel, why did you put bigger injectors without a tune? What's going on, Al? Which is overall better, as in reliability, maintainability, 1.8T or VR6? Which would you pick? Either VR6 sounds sick over 1.8T. Okay, let's get this done now, forever and ever. 1.8T or VR6? All right, 1.8T, 1,000 billion% more reliable than a VR6. VR6 though sounds 1,004 billion times better than a 1.8T. Now, 1.8Ts require very, very, very little maintenance besides just hoses and hoses and hoses and boost leaks. VR6s, you got chains, you got to deal with oil leaks, you got to deal with a lot more. There's a lot more maintenance involved in a VR, but they just sound better. So that's why people choose a VR over a 1.8 because of sound. They sound amazing. Now, I have both right now currently, a VR and a 1.8T. I will come down to a final conclusion when we get to that. But personally, for what I've had over the many, 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 many years, 1.8Ts are just reliable, period. VRs are phenomenal in sound, make okay performance, naturally aspirated. VRs are meant to be boosted, and then they're freaking nuts after that. But again, money, money, money for that and the other stuff. Yeah. Oh, that I don't know, MK4 Geo. Don't know. Sorry, man. So you might got a Miguel. You might have gotten a defective injector. It is possible to get a defective injector. Thanks, Luis. I do hate the accessory belt on a VR. It shouldn't be that difficult. Honestly, it shouldn't be. But again, it could be because I got the wrong belt. Well, the belt that was on the car was the wrong belt. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm eating in front of you guys, but I am stupid hungry. So please ignore the fact that I'm eating. Any other question, guys? Come on. I'm right here for you guys to talk. If you guys are any okay. I went for a 5K run, came back, and Al was still trying to get that belt on. You ass. Is there a place that sells a kit to replace all the hoses on a 1.18? I mean, all of them? No, but they're not that expensive. All right, Dub Invasion. Have a wonderful night, buddy. What's up, Shane? Woo woo! Ah, head's itchy for some reason. If you guys aren't a part of the the Patreon community, become a Patreon member. I put the link right in the description. Becoming a Patreon member, guys, helps us create more content here at PincheAls Garage. And it's content that you guys control, just so you guys understand how becoming a Patreon works. O2J versus O2M. O2J all day. Sorry, but O2J personally has been a much more reliable transmission. Cheaper to modify, number one, and build to high performance. Clutches are dirt cheap, and axles are just as cheap. So, personally, O2J, way better overall in reliability, price, and modification wise. O2M, oh yeah, I got a 6th gear. I can go a little bit faster. Not really. If you actually look at the gearing on the O2M versus the O2J, they're not that far apart. So, sorry, but do your research, guys. There's not much of a difference in gearing. You're probably looking at an extra 20, 30 miles an hour if you're lucky. And if you have the power to make it that far anyways, you're not going to even benefit from it. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. Again, from all the transmissions I've seen and built, O2J is just the way to go. There you go, man. O2J with the TDI 5th, way better option than O2M all day. Way better. That sucker will freaking... You can do 80 miles an hour at like 2,000 RPMs. That thing is gnarly. That's such a long 5th gear. It's gnarly. But yeah. So, again, guys, if you guys are not members, please become a member. You believe it or not, you guys make a difference. You guys will help the channel grow and grow and grow by becoming a member. That I don't know. I know O2As are very, very, very similar to O2Js. I actually would ask around in the UK guys. On There's a website, there's a Facebook group, Shane, called oh my god, it's called the 20 valve. Or do you use copper on your gas lines? No. Let me find out the exact name of the page on on Facebook. There's a UK group. I love them because, geez, they're mounds of knowledge, and they do a lot of UK stuff. You know, the stuff in UK is awesome for 1.8Ts and transmissions stuff. Okay, so yeah, so this is the page, Shane. Here you go. Hopefully you can see that. There you go. It's called 1.8T tuning. Just go in there and ask for what's it called? Just for your O2J stuff. Don't go around talking about VR6 stuff. They don't want to hear it. It's a 1.8T page, but that's a really, really good UK page for doing your research for crazy, crazy cool stuff that doesn't exist around here. Yeah, you're welcome, Shane. Alberto, I'm in the process of building my R32. I put a CTS short runner intake. I've been seeing people put lines into it. Is that for boost gauge? What else? Well, Alberto, what are you trying to do with your R32? Number one, because it's a VR engine. There's no boost. You just put a short runner intake, which actually drops your performance, by the way, because the intake manifold on a 3.2 liter is legitimately perfect. It actually offers really, really good low end torque, and on higher throttle, it just builds more. It actually has better torque than Okay, so you're boosting it. Okay, then you can on a short runner, if it doesn't have the vacuum lines on it or vacuum ports, you can just tap a hole on it and make some ports. It's up to you. Just depends on the manifold that you got. There's lots of different manifolds. What a spick! Thanks, fool! Thanks for joining Patreon. Woo! You don't understand. It helps so much, guys. Well, they're not VR sex haters. They're just a 1.8T page. You don't go to a 1.8T page asking about VR6. You go to a VR6 page to ask about VR6 stuff. You know, that's kind of how that works. I don't know. It's just me. Maybe, I mean, it's just the obvious thing. Oh, man. I'm going to see how much I'm going to enjoy a VR6 when I get this one going. Diego's, I don't run the 034 one. I run a different one. I run this. I run an integrated engineering manifold. But the 034 manifold is just as good, just so you know. I run the integrated engineering one because, again, I love their products. I believe in their products. And 034, I'm on pretty much on the same page with them as well. I love their products. But I like the look more of this manifold. So you got one for $160? Holy crap. Good find, buddy. Good find. I'm actually pretty jealous. That's cheap. These guys risky out picks. No. But yeah, I love this manifold. This is one of my favorite manifolds out there. Actually, I just took it off a couple weeks ago because, believe it or not, this manifold is not very good for low end torque when I'm towing my trailer. So I pulled this off because of my trailer. So yeah, it's all dirty. Ah. Damn, that's not bad. Jeez. All right, so I'm gonna call it a night though. No, Miguel. I mean, you can use it for the time being, but I would definitely upgrade it to the 80 mil Hemi throttle body, which is and it's also a bolt on. So that's cool, Diego. That's super cool. Wow, man. That's a cool... dude, that manifold is phenomenal. Use it. Use it. Use it. Alberto? Yes. Anything vacuum? Because on the VR6 or the 1.8T, so on your manifold, if you don't have any pre-made ports for it, okay, you're gonna have to drill and tap. Pretty much, you can't have vacuum before the throttle body. You only have vacuum after the throttle body. So I recommend to do underneath the manifold, not on top of the manifold. Drill and tap right underneath, and try to make sure your taps are short, or the stuff you're gonna tap into, make it short. Don't make it too deep, because what's gonna happen is it's gonna change the flow characteristics inside your manifold. So on the VR6, you probably want to go all the way to the end, to the last cylinder on that manifold, and make your vacuum lines on the end. Don't try to do it on here, like closer to the middle. On the stock VR6 manifolds, they have vacuum lines right on the back against the manifold, because when they machine them, they're perfectly smooth on the inside, so it doesn't change the characteristics and how the air tumbles on the inside correctly. So remember that. Miguel tune. Look up Boost Dynamic Tuning. You have to mail it in, but that's who I recommend always. Ooh, you gotta send me some pictures, Shane. Exactly. Boost Dynamic Tuning on Facebook. Fastest way to find them is on Facebook. Super good, good dudes, and they make really good tunes. Just so you know. Thank you, Alberto. Thank you. I'm going to bed, guys. This week I've been super drained. I need some sleep, so I mean, everybody's seen the VR6 build, Shane. It's all over Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. But thank you everyone for tuning in this live session, for shopping for Rob's big turbo build. If he you know, pulls the trigger and decides to do it, yep. I want to see that, Shane. It's going to be a pretty exciting build. Yes, Miguel, they will work with logs and correct you if they need to. Yep. You're welcome, Rob, and everybody else. Thank you. And before you say goodbye, please, guys, become a Patreon member. It helps us a lot. It's not hard to do it. Just follow the link down below. And as always, here at PincheAls Garage, respect one another. If you see another dubber on the road, give him a thumbs up. Give him some deuces. And as always, here on YouTube and everywhere around the world, we're going to break, we're going to fix, and again, we'll repeat, because that's what we do here, and it's all about the community. All right? You guys have a wonderful day. Peace out with much love.